Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a very fun show for you here. 90 minutes, folks. We're going to get into games, and more games. And we're going to be talking with the community. We're going to get your most anticipated games of the year. I have a block of 3, one of which was announced today, and it blew my stack, ladies and gentlemen, in the best way possible. That's right. Aliens Rogue Incursion, which was a VR game. And I bought it. And guess what? I never played it. Not because I was scared or anything. I just didn't have the time. I was actually using the headset to work out. And I don't really use it as much because now I'm in the gym 3 days a week, but I got to get back to it for sure. But they are releasing a console version. Oh my freaking God. Let me tell you something. I did not even know that game was releasing, and holy shit, am I excited. There's a $30 version. How dare you not buy this game immediately, chat? And there's a $40 version. It gives you some upgrades and stuff. I bought the $40 edition. Of course I did. But we're going to be getting into that. That's going to be second half of the show, and that's going to be a lot of fun because everyone is going to have something different that they are excited for. I have quite a few games, but I have a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the year of the budget game that is the one that's taking up most of the slots for game of the year. Oh my God, we're going to break all of that down. And of course, you see by the cover, I have Wu Chang Fallen Feathers as the in the thumbnail. There's a reason for it, folks, because there was a story about how Xbox is making a big push into the East. We know that they're going to be we talked about it last week on Primetime Gaming, how big of a presence they're going to have in Japan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they just had a job posting for someone to start curating the talent in China. And that's a really big deal because if you've seen what Sony's been able to do through their China Hero project, they've been able to get a couple of really big games into their ecosystem that may not have ever been there if Sony wouldn't have stepped in. And I think Microsoft actually might be pulling a page out of Sony's book and copying Sony because I think it's a brilliant idea. I think China's scene or the gaming scene is pretty big. And I think that if Microsoft, and we're going to get into this more specifically, why I think their handheld aspirations, folks, are a big part of this. But Hargeet, man, welcome back, brother. As I missed you in New York yesterday. Obviously, you got a chance to hang out with a few people. But how you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Doing okay. And we haven't really played too much, but whatever. So, but we'll get into this China thing. It's an interesting one, but I don't know if I have the same feelings you do. We'll see. We'll see how.
You know what? Again, I love opposing thoughts and theories. I just think that there is an opportunity for Xbox to look. The word Xbox means a lot here in the United States. It means a great deal in Brazil. Brazil is a major supporter of Xbox. Mexico too, for that matter. They're big fans of Xbox. But there are a lot of countries that have Xbox down in third place, sometimes even lower than that. And it's not because, they make terrible games, because, back in the days they did, but now they're putting out bangers. There's no doubt about it. I just think that it's Microsoft. A lot of people don't like Microsoft in other countries. It is what it is. I do have some thoughts and theories as to the broad stroke of what Xbox is going to do in the East, as well as what they're already doing here in the West. But hey, Kei Asante, you've had a crazy couple of weeks there, brother. Good to have you back. How you feeling?
Not bad. I feel good. I'm here. Cheap plug. People hunting me down. I will produce a tutorial video soon enough. I was
going to just bring that up because if you didn't know, folks, he had the video up that you should go and check. And as a matter of fact, please drop it in the chat right now so people can click on it. And
hold on. My camera is acting a little shady right now.
Okay,
basically, there's a way of getting into the Xbox program a little early, if you will, and get that full screen UI. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It doesn't take long, but then you got one of those. I did that this morning, put a video out, and people have been asking me questions about it. It's been a fun day. Yeah.
And you know something? Those are the videos that track really well. And you deserve more subs, and I hope you get a ton of them, to be quite frank. What console you have in your hand were you able to get this new UI early on?
So I did this on a device that I knew for sure would probably not get this thing anytime soon. So there's no denying that it works. And that is the Legion Go 1, the first Legion
very
Go.
nice. Excellent.
And that's what it and it's in switcher mode now. So you can see that, there's the UI. There's no Xbox, there's no wallpaper or desktop beyond it. So yeah, this is the Legion Go 1.
Nice. Nice. Solar Tech is asking you in the chat, Sante, do you also have a new article up on your website regarding this?
Not yet. We're gonna do a tutorial. We're gonna do
okay.
It's pretty easy, right? And I'm sure you can find it out there. But I know people ask me specifically for a tutorial, so I will be putting one together. Short little video. Actually, believe it or not, I'll be using the one Mr. BoomStick XL's Xbox. Oh well, not Xbox. The ROG Ally to do the tutorial. So this one is on the Legion Go. The other one will be on the OG Ally, which belongs to Mr. BoomStick. So
the video is good, but I kind of agree to have the website as well.
Oh yeah. We'll write it out. We'll get a nice.
You write it out. You link it and everything. Yeah, because that's definitely big.
No
but
yes.
So listen, before we actually get into the show, I want to thank Bethesda. Well, you saw me posted early this afternoon, folks, that I was at an event in Manhattan, and it was an event for Fallout 76. I can't talk about what I saw, what I played, but what I can do is tell you that when the embargo lifts, they are going to send me some B-roll footage of my gameplay. And I'll be able to put that out as well. And I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a standardized video for what I experienced in Fallout 76. And I just want to thank Bethesda for inviting me. Again, we're still a relatively small channel, and I'm not being facetious, folks. I was around a lot of bigs, and one of those is Greg Miller, this is now the second or third time I got a chance to hang out and talk with Greg Miller. Interestingly enough, and again, listen, I'm kind of nerd gushing here, folks, so bear with me. But when I came up to him, I was, "Hey, Greg, what's going on?" "Hey, Boom." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? This guy remembers me," and he does. He's a really good dude, very welcoming. So
did you ask him what he meant by his pedophilia talk about PC gamers? I'm sorry, just kidding.
I did not ask him that because it was far from my thought. But
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. That's what I would have asked, but I got a bone to pick. That's neither here nor there.
It's a strong question for sure, but not one that I would have remembered to ask. But he did ask how I was doing, surprisingly enough, and of course we had a private conversation. So shout out to Greg Miller.
I'm sorry,
and again, shout out to Bethesda for inviting us. This is I tell you, folks, I have right here to my right a bunch of badges from different events that I'm starting to collect. And it's when I come to do the podcast or I come to do work on the channel, they're always sitting here to my right staring at me. And, originally it's just one or two. Now it's up to 5. That's nice. And again, for a lot of the big content creators, this becomes like numb to them because, they may attend 5, 10, 15, 20 of these events per year. I don't. I get invited every now and again. And again, as the channel is small, we have a nice reach, but we don't have a massive reach, at least not yet. And to be invited to these things is, ultimately, I got to say this publicly before we get into the show. It's because of you. And I want that to be clear. Double Barrel Gaming would not be in this position if it wasn't for you guys and girls showing up to listen to the show, giving us the likes, reposting our stuff, retweeting our stuff, letting people know that you enjoy the channel, you enjoy the content, you enjoy the commentary. And that's ultimately what I wanted to say, because if it wasn't for you, we would not be invited to any of these things. Yes, we do the work. There's no doubt about it. But, a lot of people do the work, and a lot of people don't get these invites. So that's why I'm always going to continue to pinch myself, and I'm always going to be incredibly thankful to this community for getting us here, because that's ultimately how we got here is through your help. So salute to everybody in the chat, and a big thank you to everybody that continues to watch the program and help us, grow this very small channel known as Double Barrel Gaming. But gentlemen, we got to get into the opening salvo. Now, this one is, and Hargeet kind of put his best foot forward as he always does. He might have a different thought and theory, but this is mine. Like I was saying before in the intro, Xbox is big here in the United States. It has some reach and some significant reach in other countries, that's for sure. Mexico being one of them, Brazil being another. They're big Xbox territories. But for the most part, especially when you start talking about, lessened reach or, lessened insertion into gamers' minds and thoughts, the East is definitely one of the least for Xbox. They have, for decades, not done very well in Japan, certainly not in China. But I kind of think that is starting to maybe swing a little bit. Now, I say that because Xbox is in the process of allowing a gamer, any gamer, to play on any device. And not only just any device, not just your PCs or your consoles or your phones, but your handhelds. Now, the handheld market is, well, it's booming right now. And everybody is jockeying to the front to try and get the best piece of hardware that hits with gamers, more specifically, PC gamers. Now, if there's one thing that we know for a fact, Hargeet, in China and in Japan, they are far removed from console gaming. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. Of course it exists. Nintendo does well. PlayStation does okay. And I say okay, not to be slanderous. They do okay in Japan. I don't know what the numbers are in China, but I know that for a fact that those gamers in the East are a more mobile PC type of gamer. And they also enjoy handhelds, PC gaming handhelds. And Xbox is in the process of partnering, and they've already done it. We know that next month they have the ROG Xbox Ally S and X releasing here. And by the way, I believe Sarabon said 34 other territories. Now, I don't have the list in front of me of exactly where they're going to be releasing, but it's a total of, I think it's total of 35 territories, including the States. That's a really big deal, Hargeet. And again, I don't know if people in Japan, in Korea, or in China are going to scoff at these things. I don't know that. But I do know that it is a part of the plan because of a story. And let me just pull this up over here that comes the way. I think it was, who wrote this story? Let me see, folks. I have it right here. So the story that I'm talking about, or the information I'm talking about, is Xbox has hired someone in China to start rubbing elbows with the talent. And it's a really big deal because very, very similar to the China Hero project that Sony is currently doing, there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of games coming out of China. There's a lot of smaller indie studios that are looking to sell their wares. And I think there's an opportunity here for, and again, I'm not just focusing on China. Yes, it is a big part of what they're going to do, but the East in a whole, when you consider Korea, you consider Japan, you consider China, Hargeet, I think that this might ultimately be the big plan for Xbox to expand into other territories that for decades they've notoriously failed. Let me get your thoughts on the potential of a similar hero project in China. And obviously we know that Sarabon is already doing the work with potentially hundreds, if not 1,000 different developers in Japan. We know Korea is booming as well. But do you think that China is the next move for Xbox?
So there's two ways to look at this, right? There's the development side of it, which is courting all the development studios that are there, and there's a lot of stuff happening there. That's good. So no issues there. That's a good thing. Go ahead and coordinate, get like the content, things like Black Myth Wukong and many other games that are coming out of China. Great. That's a good idea. Why not? Right. So start coordinating, getting those games over to, in this case, it's PC and console, right? But, get them over to their platforms. That's a good thing. Not an issue, right? Maybe Game Pass deals as well. That's all great. The other side of it is the console push or platform push. Now, China is a very interesting place, right? So there's a lot of cheap knockoffs, and that has been kind of the sort of standard of what people over there buy.
Okay.
They had closed the market for a while to external companies, so you couldn't buy an Xbox, Nintendo, or a PlayStation over there. They opened it back up, and Xbox came in first and started selling. They actually, in the very, 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 very small portion of the market that actually buys these consoles, have a substantial lead over the PlayStation and Nintendo over there. But we're talking like infinitesimal amounts. It's just not a big deal over there. And the reason is simply they cost too much. The consoles that we buy versus the knockoffs that they can get, it's just too much of an expense for them. You have to understand the standard of living there is very, very, very different. Yes, there are some people who have money, but it's very different. And they look for essentially stuff they can play for free or play for free without doing it the right way. Let's just put it that way. So that's the market over there. So you have to take that into account. Is this going to change that? I don't know. There's also the fact that, well, I'm not a very big fan of the CCP, if that wasn't obvious. The pathetically annoying government there has to content censor everything. So you can't just release games. The government has to say this game is okay. They basically get like a tenth, if not less, of the games that everybody else gets. So the content curation process is a pain. It can't have many things that we just take for granted. Outright violence, not allowed. Skeletons, not allowed. There's all sorts of stupid shit that they just basically take away from you. So once you get past all that, you can then potentially put a game out there. Now, all three of the main platforms on the console side have still decided, hey, why not? And why is that? Even with the, the let's say not as well off customer base, it's still the same market size for revenue as is the US, just because of the sheer number of people. So it's worth trying to get some of that market. The question is, can you realistically expand that market to gain more? I don't know. Right. So it's a very tough thing to approach. Everybody in the world thinks, oh, 1.5 billion people, I want to sell my stuff there. It's not that easy. It's a very tough market to crack. There's so much knockoff stuff over there that it's kind of hard to sell your product at a reasonable price and actually compete. So it's good luck to these companies to see how well they can take advantage of it. Free to play games are the way to go, because that's what's going to do well over there. I don't know how much engagement they get out of it and how well that works. I don't know. So the idea that they will sell a $900 console that's affordable, even the $500 model, that's like $400 more than they're willing to spend. You take our phones, for instance. We take it for granted that $1,000, $1,500 phone is. They spend $70. They spend $100. That's and it's still an Android phone. That's what they spend. Okay, that's the disparity we're talking about. It's not in the same league. It's very hard to compete there because that's just who they are. You can go to like Alibaba and look at the prices of stuff. It's just a world of a difference. It's just the way it is. So I don't know how easy it is for Xbox or PlayStation. You would have thought PlayStation and Nintendo, Nintendo, the granddaddy of all this, would do well. No, they don't. They just don't. And this is kind of the way it is over there. So I don't know. As far as the content, I'm all for it. Happily bring it all over. No problem. I love it. Yes, absolutely. Make Game Pass deals. Bring the content to the console. Absolutely great. Awesome. Doing the opposite, good luck. I don't know how well that's going to work until, the CCP doesn't exist and people can actually make real money and can actually, then spend this. Unfortunately, this is a very luxury world we're in. Okay. Gaming is a very luxury thing to do. We may not think of it that way, but it is a very luxury thing to do. So, for a lot of people, there are a lot of gamers. There's like 600-700 million gamers that's about half the population there. Right. But it's also how much can they spend, and everything's controlled. Everything is controlled over there. So it's just the way it is. I don't mean to be mean or negative, but it is what it is.
No, we appreciate the honesty, brother. I didn't know a lot of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been to China several times. I asked these questions. Yeah, they laugh at the idea of buying an Xbox or a PlayStation. No, they buy the knockoffs because that's all they can get. That's all they can afford. This is just the way it is. The content restriction stuff it's crazy. The Great Firewall of China, if you don't understand that reference, they control all internet traffic in and out of the country. So you are not allowed to do a lot of things that we just take for granted. That you're just not allowed to do it. It is just very, very different over there. Everything is controlled. So I don't know. Could they make something? Sure. The other areas, by the way, I agree with you. It's great for them to make the push in South Korea, in Japan, India. Go ahead, absolutely make those. Malaysia and Indonesia, all those areas. Absolutely make the push. No problem. That's a good idea. China's just one of those weirdo places. Now, that's excluding Taiwan. Technically, that's China, but not really. Taiwan is pretty good, right? That they're an open economy. They do really well. And by the way, Taiwan kind of creates most of the stuff we use. TSMC is, the main semiconductor manufacturer for like a lot of people, right? So, they are very much involved. Asus is Taiwan, right? Like, just think of all those companies. They are, it's a major, major hub of technology for the entire planet. They would absolutely love it. I'm sure that they're going to be very happy to play with those, consoles and everything. That's great. It's mainland. That's very different, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's why my thoughts on that is it's just different. It's just a weird place. And until they can really have an open economy, it's going to be tough to get in there. It just is what it is. So it's sad. I would love that country to be very free and be open and be able to do whatever they want. Unfortunately, that's just not the world we live in. So it might be. No,
it's you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually glad you made mention of it, because almost everything you talked about, and maybe because I'm naive, not small-minded by any stretch of the truth, but that's very interesting. I mean, I know that about the control situation. I did not know that they would much rather buy a knockoff than they would rather buy an actual thing. And that's my brain, because I always shy away from anything fake. I don't buy anything. That's why it's
all they can afford, right?
Yeah.
Consider the knockoff will cost them like $100 versus buying a $500 PlayStation. They're not going to buy it. They're just not.
Wow.
So they'll buy the knockoff.
And you said a $70 phone versus the $1,000 phone network.
It's what they do. That's why Android wins, by the way, is because places like that will buy the $100 phone versus we pay much, much more, but they buy the $100 phone, right? So it is what it is.
That's very interesting. But I am going to say, though, if we just get off the hardware situation and we go to the software, we go to the software, which is going to play ultimately on hardware, I do hope that Xbox does get some developers from these regions. We know that they're working with, and again, this comes away of Sarah Bond. She said it in multiple interviews, how many creators that they're working with in Japan. So we know that that's a thing. We know that Korea has become a hotspot for talent, and there's been multiple games to release for and from Korea. Not really so much, from China, but Sony themselves has, again, the China Hero project, where they are working close with developers and indie developers, for that matter, to bring games of every size and ilk to their platform, usually through these deals. And obviously that makes a lot of sense, because Sony is in the process of making their own games, and they're just not churning out as much as they probably would want due to some decisions that were made. So they're turning to other regions to work with other developers from other countries, and that's smart. I'm glad Xbox is taking this route. Now, real quick, the original tweet that I have here is, of course, from Hazador Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. You should follow him if you're not already following him on X. It's at Hazador Gaming, missing the Gamin. He posted this, KSante, Microsoft/Xbox looking to expand and strengthen its partnerships with developers and publishers in China, as per a hiring post for a business development lead. And this comes the way of jobs.careers.microsoft.com global en/job. And that means that they are looking. Now, they don't have this person yet. At least, I wouldn't imagine they got one that quick, but it does seem that they are looking to expand their reach in other regions that for many, many years has been closed to them. My mind thinking that the handheld is going to be the next big thing for them. And obviously, we know that they have a partnered OEM handheld coming out next month. You've had your chance to play with both of them. And I do think that this is going to potentially bring new gamers to Xbox because of the Xbox Play Anywhere thing. I think that this is an Xbox that they're working on right now, that big project. I think that is going to bring more people to Xbox playing on whatever device that they have in front of them. And I think it's going to bring more people to Xbox Game Pass because, quite frankly, the amount of games that, like, for instance, are coming for next month are ridiculous. I mean, Deep Galactic Survivors just dropped today, and I'm already on stage 3. Now, I'm not loving it just yet. I like it. I just don't love it, and I might be because of yet another zombie survivors game, because that game, as you see playing on your screen, is like digital crack cocaine, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stop playing it. It is freaking amazing. But let's get your thoughts on this, Asante.
So by and large, I agree with Hargeet on this one. There's a different way of looking at it, but if you're looking at it to augment Xbox's platform with the Chinese market, that is a long haul that we don't foresee will ever happen.
Okay,
exactly to what Hargeet said, right? That market is used to a different kind of game, just a different kind of a price point, just like as the same analogy that he made with phones, right? There are specific kind of phones that you can't find in America, but you can find them in India, you can find them in Pakistan, a few other places. They are awesome phones. You would never get them here, and they cost super cheap comparative to what's available here, because they had to make phones for that market in order to take any kind of market share. Similarly, you'd have to do that in this console, in the console space or in the hardware space in order to do that, right? But the juice won't be worth the squeeze to them specifically, because by and large, consoles in general are a loss leader, which by all accounts, it looks like they're trying to get away from, right? But where I do see some potential here, and like I said, I wholeheartedly agree with Hargeet's assessment of it's not to get China on board, it's to augment their existing platform with China, right? There's a lot of talent in China. And oh, by the way, if there is a play to get China on board, it's on the PC side of the house, not anywhere else, because they are big on PC in most Asian region, really big on PC. The reason why StarCraft still exists is because of Korea. Like, people love PC gaming. There are like cyber cafes dedicated to allotting time so you can just go and play your game if you don't own a system at home for yourself, right? So as I see it, this is a double play, right? They want to augment their platform with awesome Chinese games, which we know exist. You don't know an awesome Chinese game? Phantom Blade Zero. Keep an eye on it. That
game looks phenomenal, bro.
Anyway, oh boy.
Yeah.
I played it again this year. Wow. Right. But there are many games like that. And of course, PlayStation being the market leader in perception, they have the pick of the litter. Microsoft has to actually put some boots on the ground, actually make an effort there. And this is, I think, that, right? And where I feel like they think the juice is also worth the squeeze is we won't get them on consoles, but we're not even caring about consoles like that anymore. It's just one endpoint among many. What do we have? To your point, Boom, we have handhelds. That Asian market also loves smaller devices. Like as Hargeet mentioned, the cost of living is a whole different thing. Space, general real estate is at a premium, so they like small stuff that can easily travel, right? That's why Switches are great in those regions if they do buy consoles, because they are small and they can be carried and they can move with them. Obviously, China is a little bit of a different beast because they like Hargeet was saying, they were so alienated from the general gaming market that now they've basically built their own market with, you know, some of the stuff they're doing, right? It is what it is. So you can't really rely on them to augment your platform in a big way, like as a console in the standard definition. But yeah, them MAUs will come in super handy when you're like counting them for the next free to play game, which will be available on the PC, right? And what's the flip side? You now potentially court their developers to augment your stuff because they have stuff that, you know, we all can tell they just don't make available elsewhere, right? So it is interesting. It is an interesting place I think they find themselves. I would just caution against the thought that this would be like augmenting of their platform in like a real console kind of way. I think that much like how Steam, even though we know those numbers are padded, we know that Steam has like 1 billion user IDs. You know, it doesn't matter where you go. As long as you can tap into PC, you can fill your ranks depending on if your content is great, right? So it is a content play. And actually, to that point, it is like very cool that Microsoft is doing this stuff. I think I've said it on this show before. They're also courting some developers in Africa, which is few and far between, but they got some really interesting, like awesome developers out there who are making really interesting things. And Microsoft is trying to get that on their platform, reaching out to them, helping them the way they can. I got to meet the CTO of Dimension 11 Studios, that Nigerian studio. I got to meet him in Germany, and he told me all the great things and how they're trying their best to you know, get them involved and bring them on board and all this because they see the potential there. So I think this is genuinely more of that, right? They hope they get some Chinese customers, but that's not the play here. The play is, wow, there's really awesome Chinese content that the world of gaming would love, and why should PlayStation be the only ones that get it?
I mean, that's a good point. Again, the world is big. If you didn't know, folks.
Oh yeah,
it's a really big world with thousands upon thousands of developers trying to sell their wares. And I do like this because, again, maybe not every game well, we know this. Not every game is for every gamer. So something like Phantom Blade Zero, which looks dope to you and me, which that's day one. I'm not even, there's no thoughts. I didn't play it. I've only seen what they've shown. It looks really freaking good.
Yeah.
So that's day one for me. But maybe it's not for somebody else.
One thing I will augment the conversation with, Boom, real quick. It's on the edge, but again, to Hargeet's point, phones are mad popular. The Android phones specifically. Android phones are becoming so powerful these days.
You told me.
PCs are being emulated on Android phones, right? And those are devices, and like, just as a general rule, those devices are everywhere. They're ubiquitous now. They are very much like normal to you. Just like Boom is looking for the Xbox UI, right? Android is home for lots of people because that's what they use. Millions of people around the world. I would not be surprised if you start seeing strong pushes into Android in gaming for both Microsoft and even PlayStation very soon, because that's how they augment. That's how they get those guys involved where they live. And you can do that on the cheap because it's Android and it has relatively lower cost of entry. And they're now cracking the nut. I'm telling you, like, I have a device right here that can emulate freaking GTA 5 locally.
Wow.
And it's a phone. The world is out there.
Crazy,
It's not today.
dude.
It's not for Gen Pop today, but it will be soon enough. Hargy, you wanted to get in.
And that's step one to
Mhm.
getting it native on what? On a television
On
that already
TVs.
runs
That's right.
Android.
Yes.
It already
yes.
has it.
TVs.
Yeah.
Yes. Like right now, the NVIDIA Shield can emulate devices. That is a set-top box under the TV that's made of Android. There are Android devices that are built into TVs. Imagine if the SoCs get a little bit more powerful, or somebody's crazy enough to put the same SoC that's in, like, say, the Galaxy S24 in a TV. Now you're emulating literally
we spend
local PC games.
thousands. We spend thousands on LG, like, OLED TVs that are really the
And they
feature
have
sets are
terrible-
intended for games.
Yes.
What's an extra like $20
Yeah.
to get an actual, APU that does gaming into that TV like 5-10 years from now? So what I've been saying is at some point it just becomes so obvious that the next step is you just push the game directly to the TV. It just works directly on your TV, right? It doesn't have to cloud stream, though you can augment with cloud. Why not? But it'll just run natively. And this is step one, is you already see it. People are starting to leverage the phones, starting to leverage APUs. I mean, the biggest one right now is the Switch. The Switch literally is an ARM CPU device with the NVIDIA GPU.
See, but
right?
you know what?
Altogether.
The ARM one, the Switch one has been doing this for like what, almost 10 years now. The reason why that was put off to the side is most people build for it. It never has come to a time that until now where stuff that's agnostic to it. Like I'm playing Silk Song on my phone, ladies and gentlemen, and it's running at over 100 frames per second. They never built it for Silk Song. Right. I think I can say this. I got access to the Replaced demo. Right. There was a demo for Replaced. I put Replaced on my phone and then showed it to the developer and blew his mind. My thing runs on the phone. Oh my God. Like this is happening.
It's what's gonna happen.
Soon
Right?
enough.
And just think 10
Phones
years
are
from
gonna
now,
be
how much more
place,
powerful,
how
much more powerful these devices are gonna be. And it's like, come on, at that point, your device is enough. You don't need more. And like everything can run off of it. Pair that with a pair of AR goggles or something. You're done. You don't need anything beyond that. You're good.
And this
you can play
and
anywhere
this is
you
why,
want.
This is some
why
world,
Microsoft chose to separate the game from the hardware, because now the game can live lots of places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
And by the way, Rick L, I see you in the chat. Yes, Crisis 1, 2, and 3 playable over 60 frames. I can show you videos.
Wow. And that used to destroy people's the PCs. Remember
that? It's the first thing I tried, because can it play Crisis? And the answer, oh yes, it can.
Oh
yes,
my God, that's crazy. Well, I mean, look, I'll put it to this way. I personally think, and this isn't a console war rhetoric conversation. This is just, if you look at what the big three are doing, Sony's working on the PS6, right? They're working on their handheld. I don't know if they're going to go 3 SKUs. I think it's risky to try that, to be honest with you. Like an S model of the PS6. Man, I don't know so much about that. PS6 handheld, I could see that. A third SKU, man, that's risky. And Nintendo, look, Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. I know people get really angry when I say that, but listen, I know a lot of people don't like Nintendo because of what they did with the whole copyright thing. I think that's gross. I think, summon a creature to fight for you and they own that. That's, to me, is crazy. Shame on the United States for allowing that patent to be locked up. That's ridiculous. But I love my Switch. I just got a notification. They had like this special edition Castlevania box set, and I think it came with all of the games on cartridge. And well, of course, I bought it because I like special editions. I'll say that of the big three, Xbox is moving in a way where I don't think people give them enough credit on how far advanced they currently are. And everything they're doing to get all of your games aggregated into one location on a handheld and on your PC, for that matter, are really just incredible. Yes, we know that they're working on the next console. We know that, again, the rumor is 27 for both the dockable handheld that's rumored and the box. Next year, And again, I keep saying Asus, like I know what I'm talking about, folks. That's the stab in the dark. I mean, they've already partnered with Asus for the handhelds. It would make sense that if there was going to be a first of, OEM device underneath your TV, it would be probably Asus because they've already working with them, right? So it makes sense. Could it be someone else? Sure, but I don't think so. I'm still going to bet on Asus being the one that they're working with. Does that release next year? Well, that's the rumor. And everything that they're doing and everything you keep reading about, because again, you follow Jez Corden, you follow any of the bigs out there, they're consistently talking about all of these things coming to PC, coming to the PC handheld, the PC handheld. And again, there's a big fight out in the community. It's not an Xbox. No, it's an Xbox. Folks, it's got an Xbox button on it. It's got Xbox in the title. They partnered with them. They worked hand in hand with Asus to get this device out there. It's maybe an OEM Xbox device, but it's an Xbox device. I don't know why people are fighting about that. Like to me, it's just like tomatoes, tomatoes. I don't get it, but it's fine. Look, at the end of the day, folks, we're winning. Gamers are winning because choice is more evident now than it's ever been, and it's going to continue to be and get even better each and every month, each and every year. And at some point, I think Hargeet alluded to it, TVs are going to be just as good as your consoles. Like they're literally going to run these games as good as your freaking console. And all you need is the TV, which we're all going to buy, right? And a controller that hooks up to the TV. Holy cow, we won, right? Like, oh my God, we're winning. But look, gentlemen and chat, this is one of those topics that is a little bit all over the place because it's gaming. There's not one specific game we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a lot of games. And I want to get the chat involved in this. Like, what is your most anticipated game of the year? I'm not talking about GTA next year. Everybody's going to say that. I'm talking about this year. But before we get there, I do got to catch up on a couple of super chats and some gifted subs here. So the first, wow, this is insane. So Eris_EMS, as he's done so many times before, brother, that is so generous of you. I don't even know what to say. He has gifted, ladies and gentlemen, 10 double barrel gaming memberships. Bro, that is so generous. Mrs. Boom and I do greatly appreciate it. And again, that all of these subs that are gifted, folks, are used for a great purpose. And of course, next Friday, we're doing Boom's Birthday Bash, the 7th annual Boom's Birthday Bash, where it's my birthday on the 25th, which, of course, Sonic is releasing that day. Yes, Sonic. But we're giving away $300 worth of digital prizes. And all you got to do to win, ladies and gentlemen, is just be in the chat. Put the hashtag that we have under lock and key in. And if the picker from StreamYards gets you, you won. Even if you're outside of the country, folks, we honor those. And if we have to send you the money, and we will send you the money, we've done it a lot last year, we will send it via PayPal. So, of course, it protects us. You get your money and you go and you buy your things. But we also have Spidey King in the chat. Spidey King, welcome, brother. Nice. I don't recognize the name, so it's great to see you here. But thank you so much, Spidey King, for the very generous 5 gifted double barrel gaming memberships. That is incredibly generous of you. And again, like I said earlier, Mrs. Boom and I do greatly appreciate all of that type of generosity. We also have Gamer by Choice dropping a very generous $5 super chat. And Gamer by Choice goes on to say, originally, consoles were just a gateway to gaming at home. That was the mission. Xbox showed the mission has changed. Oh, I like what you did there. It always does. I can't talk like Master Chief, but I got goosebumps, brother. That's freaking awesome. I love it. But gentlemen, thank you so much for the generosity. We definitely appreciate it. But look, I'm going to go first and talk about Aliens Rogue Incursion. Now, Kay, I'm going to you first because you know about this game. This was a VR game exclusive. And it came out, and look, I bought it, and I didn't get a chance to play because of time. I bought the Batman one, and I didn't even get a chance to play it because it's just not enough time in the day. Plus, I was using the VR to work out, to be honest with you. But man, Kay, it's releasing, and it was done in such a way where I saw IGN posted the Xbox video of this, which I couldn't believe because again, if you watch the commercial to the end of it, there's like a little tease at the end, and it shows for Xbox. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. Now it's coming out for everything. It's $30, right? $29.99 for the standard edition. There is a $40 or a $10 upgraded edition. I did buy that. Okay, let's, again, you're Mr. VR, but they're bringing this game to consoles. This is dope, dude. Like, this is, I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to sound like lunacy at its finest. It's my most anticipated game of the year. I'm an Aliens fan. I have been since the Jaguar. Now, don't make fun of me, folks. Aliens versus Predator on Jaguar was effing amazing and still is. I wish they would remake that. And you know what? There's an Aliens game, a first-person shooter, and guess who doesn't have their hands on it? That's right, Randy Pitchford. Oh, sorry, I had to say that. Go ahead, do your thing. Hey, Asante, let's talk about this game, man.
So first thing, if you haven't done so and you own one, immediately go and update your meta because they stole all of Apple's homework. It is the Apple Vision Pro, but for $500. All of it is now on the Meta Quest. So just so you know, if you haven't done an update recently, go do that update. You will be stunned. It is literally the Apple Vision Pro, and it's unabashed. We were talking about it not too long ago. If you haven't tried it out, try it out. You'll be like, what? It is the Apple Vision Pro. Anyway, there's that. Secondly, if you are like Boom and you love aliens as much, you better be watching Alien Earth. If you're not, you're doing it absolutely
dude, it's
wrong.
Freaking amazing. Yes, it's so good.
Yes. So I played this game, Alien Rogue Incursion. I played this in VR. Don't do it that way. Just don't. Don't do it that way. No, don't do that. Don't play Resident Evil 7, because if you are a man of my age, your heart can't handle certain stresses.
There you go.
Man, oh man. It was like scary things in VR take on a different meaning because like he's in your face and the acid sweat is just like right there. It's wild. Like it will freak you out to like nth degrees. Resident Evil 7, reason why I will never play another VR scary game. It just can't be done. But this way, like flat, we call it flat games, when it's VR and it goes into flat games, pancake flat games. This game, perfect for that because it's visceral and fast paced, and it's not like the Isolation where you just feel like you're behind the 8 ball the whole damn time, which was, I know people liked it. Like my problem with games like that is like I go to games for power fantasy. I don't go to games to feel like I'm completely disabled throughout the whole game. You know what I mean? It gets old quick for me. So like Resident Evil with Mr. X, like if I can't kill you, I don't want to play. Like I'm supposed to be able to defeat you. And if I can't defeat you, I don't care how hard it is, make it possible. If it's undefeatable, then what am I even doing here? Get out of here. And Alien Isolation was the same thing. He'll just always stalk you. He'll always hunch it. You can't do anything about it. I'm like, where's a mod or a hack to get rid of this thing? It is what it is. In this game, yes, it is scary. Yes, they come after you, but it's kind of Doom-esque in that you are also very equipped. You are very powerful. You can go out there and you can murk them fools, and it's very fun. It is very fun. I will say, Boom, as a person who hasn't played it, temper your expectations. And what I mean by that is it's not the deepest of games, but if you want like an awesome story and you want to be able to kill a bunch of aliens and all the alien tropes that you know and love, yeah, this is perfect. This is absolutely, and it's perfectly priced, right? So I got $30. Perfectly priced. It even looks like they kind of like augmented the graphics a little bit because that's one of the problems that tend to happen with VR games. Since they did the stupid thing and they're no longer connecting it to PCs, they have to let it all fit on a phone, like we just discussed. So that means your awesome graphics gets limited by today's tech. So like the VR version was good, but it wasn't like particularly great, just like the Batman game that you're describing. One of the best like standard to VR translations I have ever come across. They hit it out the park, but graphically, when you look in real close, because you can do that in VR, it is muddy and 360. Like it's bad, right? And that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to VR games. But TLDR, this game is awesome. At that price, it's a steal. People should buy it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know Hargeet, you don't really do horror games, so I don't know if this is going to interest you or not. But there are a couple of more games that we want to talk about. First of all, and I made mention of this earlier, Sonic the Hedgehog tweeted, as he does, leave the open world behind and come race on our level. And folks, I don't know whether you saw this. It is a diss. It is a full on
very Nintendo energy.
it really is Nintendo energy. And I don't know whether you guys and gals saw it. First of all, there are a couple of again, this is going to be one of those segments where it's just going to be talking about games. Hargeet, I don't know whether you're into kart racing or you're not, but Sonic the Hedgehog tweeted, leave the open road behind and come race on our level. Early unlock is live 1 week from today on Sonic Racing Cross Worlds Digital Deluxe Edition owners. I have that. That's also releasing on my birthday, which is great. But they did a commercial now. I probably should show the commercial because it's only 32 seconds. I don't think we're going to get banged for it. So you know what? Hold on. Let me just do a screen share here. What do you think, K-Sante? No dice or?
Yeah, no, I think you'd be all right. Sega doesn't tend to be like that. You know, this is not 2K we're talking about.
Yeah, that is very true. So let me just do a screen share, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see this for everyone, because this is Nintendo energy. There's no doubt about it. It really is
Sega energy. Classic
and
Sega
it
energy.
is
And I'm all for it.
AF.
Yes.
So let me just pull that up over here. Let me blow up the screen. I'm gonna probably, you know what? Let me just shut off the music because that probably grab us for. But check this out, folks. Now this is again that Nintendo type of energy. This is funny. This is very funny. So I'm gonna hide us for a hot second. Check this out. This is great.
We don't need to show it to you. But what if you can blast through and race on a whole nother level? What if you could warp across different dimensions, fully customize and build out your machine, and compete head-to-head across different platforms? Or what if you want to roam around on the open road?
Oh man, that is.
We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A diss publicly for, of course, Sega doing some slanders. You know what's interesting about this particular story is right now, and I find it to be egregious. Mario Kart World is fun. Is it $80 fun? The answer is it is not. I'm sorry, it's just not. So what Sega did, and I actually can't believe they did this. If you go to buy Sonic Racing Worlds, right, on PS5, it's $70. If you go to buy it on Xbox, it's $70. There's a deluxe edition you can buy, which I got. But on Nintendo Switch, it's $59.99. Like that's purposefully done. And it's done in a way where they're really going for it. Now, if you consider, you know, like what Sega's been up to, Hargeet, you know, they released Shinobi. Shinobi is going to be in the for a lot of people at the end of the year, their game of the year talk. Yes, it is a side-scrolling ninja game, but it's freaking amazing. I don't think there was one bad word I heard about the game. Even if its difficulty is not that hard, you just have to play the game. We know that Sega is going to be in Japan at the Tokyo Game Show in a big way. There's 4 slots of the 9 games that they're showing, and we think some of those games are going to be their classics. They seem to be back. Let's get your thoughts on the commercial I just saw, and you know what you think of what's your most anticipated game of well, for the remainder of the year.
Well, I mean, the commercial's rather amusing.
It is
Certainly a dig at Mario Kart. But we'll see if it comes anywhere close to selling as much as Mario did. But yeah, why not, right? Why not engage in some way? Like, look, is that game going to be on Switch? I'm sure it will be, right? It'll probably be there as well. The Sonic World, what is it? Sonic? What do they call it? The Sonic Kart game.
Yeah, it's Sonic World,
Crossworlds or something like that.
Yes, yeah,
Crossworlds, right?
Sonic Racing Crossworlds, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be on Switch as well at some point. Right? So they're a partner and also a competitor or whatever. But amusing. What the hell, right? Why not? As far as anticipated, like there's still quite a few games coming. I think Outer Worlds 2 is probably one of the bigger ones for me, but that Call of Duty 4-player co-op, that sounds pretty good too. I don't know what the campaign for Battlefield 6 is going to be like. I'm not sure.
I think they said 6 hours. 6 hours of campaign, so it's not long,
which is fine. Like
it's fine. 6 hours is great. Yeah.
So it just depends on whether I want to pick that up now or not, right? So, but again, there's a lot of stuff still to come. So we'll see what happens there. We just got Borderlands, which is pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna like Ninja Gaiden. I don't know. The platforming for that just does not seem to be something I care about. So whatever. But we still have Metroid Prime 4. That's also dropping.
Yep.
And hopefully that'll be good. So we got enough. We've got enough stuff coming along. So I don't know if there's going to be more surprises, if we're going to have another shadow drop from TGS. It's always possible.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, dude.
We'll see what happens. That's next week. We'll find out next week, right? So that's another possibility. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff still to come. But I think Outer Worlds 2 is probably my bigger one. But again, there's plenty of things I'm still excited for. Keeper could be very fun. We'll see, but it's going to be a smaller game. So we'll see what they do. Ghost of Yote, that one's got a whole bunch of headaches with it.
That game went from most anticipated for a lot of people to a whole lot of baggage, bro. Like, honestly, man.
It is what it is. It's sad, but that is where they are. It would have been. I'm not going to play it when it comes out because it's going to be on PlayStation, not on PC. But when it was coming to PC, look, Ghost of Tsushima is my favorite game from PlayStation. And I was very, very much looking forward to this, but I don't know where my head's at right now. I will wait and let
you would prefer to play it on PC anyway, right? Did you play the original?
Of course. And that's
okay.
I played the original on PlayStation 5 when it came out on PS4. I bought it on PS4. I just never got around to playing it until I got the PS5. So I played it on PS5. Okay. I bought it again on PC when I got rid of my PS5. So I have it on PC. But yeah, that was certainly one of my favorite games from them. It's really, really good. But yeah, and I was looking forward to this. It was going to be my PC game, though. I'm not going to play it on PlayStation. I have one. So it would be on PC for me. But we will see. I'll see that next year when it comes out on PC. But that would normally have been an anticipated game. But that's kind of neither here nor there. From a Sega perspective, I don't know if they have anything else besides Sonic coming this year.
Nothing announced yet.
Yeah, so I will wait until they announce the next things. Look, I still haven't even had a chance to play the Yakuza Pirate game.
Oh wow!
Which I still want to go play that. But again, it's like you think that's probably like another 80-100 hour game. It's when you get the time for these things, it's crazy. I want to play Shenmue 3. I haven't played that, and that's not necessarily Sega, though it was Sega before it went independent. So either way, there's plenty of stuff that can happen there. Those 4 games I don't know what they're going to be. I think we had a discussion about that in the last episode.
Last week
right?
we did.
So,
We talked about it. Yeah.
So lots of potentials there. I looking forward to what they bring up, but we'll see where they go with that. With that. But yeah, again, I think Call of Duty is actually I'm pretty hyped about because of that 4-player co-op. That really blows my mind. I so love co-op games. Just Helldivers. We've been playing so much of that just because it's co-op. You can hang out with your friends and just play. It's really just one of those things that Xbox gamers do. We just hang out and party chat and play, and so it's a fun thing to do. And so I've been playing that. I'm very much looking forward to that Call of Duty co-op. And then again, Outer Worlds 2. I like Obsidian games, so I'm gonna be. I loved Avowed. I thought it was great. I know people somehow didn't. Some people didn't like it. A lot of people did.
Still my game of the year, brother. Still my game of the year.
I liked it. I thought it was great, and I can't wait to play this one. Grounded 2 from them also this year. Haven't even started it because I'm like, I'll just wait for the actual game to come out. Because again, I sunk 200 hours, literally 200 hours into Grounded 1.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet. I want the whole game to come out. I'll just wait. It's just one of those things, right? You can just do so much. And again, it's co-op. You get to play with your friends. That it's just so much fun when you do that together, and you build the entire world together. So yeah, it's fun times. So, but those are my anticipated games. I like Sega coming out with some fun here. I think it's an interesting thing to kind of like slightly jab your competition there. It reminds me of other times when Xbox used to do that as well, right? So it'd be nice if that started happening. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be crazy, but little jabs here and there. It's always just a little fun.
I thought it was fun.
So, but yeah, why not, right? So we'll see how good the game is. You can make the jabs, but the game has to deliver. So
I played the game for about 3 hours, and I freaking loved the demo. I really, really did.
Awesome.
Again, it was a lot of fun, lots of colors, lots of things on the screen, super fast.
That's awesome.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we'll see when the game comes out. So there are always times where they curate what you get to play in a demo, right? So I just want to make that clear. Redfall, anyone? That shit happens. So when it comes out, we'll see, right? Hopefully it does match up and it comes out great and it's gonna be awesome. And then we'll see how well it does as far as sales. But yeah, I like the little jabs. I like it a little fun, right? It's a little bit of this is supposed to be entertaining, right? So we're playing games literally. So why not have a little fun with it? It's not like hateful or anything, right? It's just just a little bit of a jab here and there, a little bit of fun. come try out our game. I like it.
Well, I mean, again, the Mario Kart is a great game. I'm not trying to suggest that it's not. I've had so much fun with it, but it's not an $80 game. It's just not. It really they would have to add a lot more content for that $80 for it to be an $80 game. I beat it. I enjoyed every second that I played it. I played it with Tyler. We drove around, just doing racing together. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But Asante, we didn't get your most anticipated game, sir. What is your forecast for the remainder of 2025?
So first and foremost about the ad there, loved it, thought it was great. And just for a moment, let's just put a quick pin in the ad and talk about the merits of the game. Yes. It had some of the longest line at Gamescom. Sonic
really?
Crossover. Okay.
Oh snap! Okay.
I've heard die-hard Nintendo fans. Like one person, if you're part of our Discord, you know what I'm talking about, calls himself the president of Nintendo.
I know who you're talking about, sir, but I won't mention his name. No names.
He outwardly, he and I, we all debated for like a week when the $80 game thing came out because he was defending Mario. After playing this demo, he's like, yeah, he was wrong. Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone is talking about, this thing squashes Mario Kart.
They cooked, bro. Folks, I'm here to tell you, if you were ever a fan,
they really did.
Of Sega, and you know what? Let me just say this. Now, this is for the OGs in the chat.
Yeah,
I got a lot of AM2 energy from this game, bro.
But one thing though, Boom. I won't like completely jump out of the window without my parachute, because I will say I played it on the Switch, and obviously it's Switch 1 code on the
Okay.
Switch 2, and I'm on the LG screen. It's docked, which rarely is it docked, but it was docked. It looks horrible. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
They need to get that Switch 2 patch out immediately.
Okay.
It don't
I did
look
not know that.
good.
I played it on the Xbox. It looks phenomenal.
It looks like it's like 420p that's been upscaled to my 55-incher. You know what I'm saying? But admittedly, there is a Switch 2 version coming out. That's not the demo. So when it comes out, I expect it to be much better. But like, and it is fun. Oh my god, is that fun? You know the demo. It is fun. It just so happens to look like dog water on the Switch right now, because I think they built it for Switch 1 code and they did not do none of the upgrades for Switch 2 are in that demo. So I won't throw myself out the window and say Sega squashed them completely, because right now, if you were to load up both games, Mario Kart World looks so much better than it does. Even though I would say from a gameplay fun moment to moment perspective, Sonic cooked. They really did a good job with that. So there's that. Now, quickly to the games. The problem is I have too many games, man. Too many games.
Yeah.
My 3 most anticipated. 2 that most people know, 1 that you might not know. Outer Worlds 2. Say less. Hargeet's already talked about it. Everyone that came out of that Outer Worlds 2 demo in June and even later are like, bro, this is the award-winning one. This is it. They've done it. They put their foot down. They have gone so far into their bag with this, with everything you love about Obsidian. This is the team. This is it. This is it. It is fantastic, at least from what I've seen so far. Second, Ninja Gaiden 4. First game I got to play at Gamescom. The line for the Xbox Ally was too long, and the other one was right there. We're like, let's go play Ninja Gaiden 4. Boy, is that fun.
Yeah,
it is
looks good.
Awesome. It was kind of like, yeah, of course I'll play Ninja Gaiden. I played all of them, and now it's on the top of my list. It is very fun. Very, very fun. Don't know if it's going to win awards or anything, but it reminds you that, hey, man, these hard adventure games, action games used to exist. From didn't invent this stuff. These are the OGs. Like, they really did something great. They did something great. So that is my second one. Third, most people probably don't know, The Last Caretaker. It's this cool little indie thing made by the developer of Trials HD, if you remember that game.
Really? I love those games. Those games are very difficult.
But this is nothing like that. Nothing like that. This is, you're a robot on Earth. Earth has gone through a cataclysm. All there is on Earth is water, and you're literally regrowing humanity as a little robot. You're regrowing humanity. Look it up, The Last Caretaker. The story's weird. The whole thing is very slow paced, but then it builds to something crazy, and there's a lot to it. The Last Caretaker. It's really awesome. I got a demo of it. I walked away buzzing. It is awesome.
Nice.
My 2 dark horses, well, 3 dark horses. Metroid Prime 4, Say Less. That's what's going to get me to really like play my Switch for a long period of time. After Mario Kart, it's that. Secondly, Ghost of Yotai. I'm sorry, you had me at Watanabe mode. I'm there. I'm sorry. I got the lo-fi hip hop beats in the background. We slicing fools up. You got me. I'll be there. It'll be the reason why I play my PS5, because since Spider-Man 2, yeah, I haven't really like played much of my PS5. My kids play it all the time with Astrobot and the like, but
yeah,
me spending endless time on that device hasn't happened that as much. So Ghost of Yotai will be when I get it. And of course I will double dip, because I'm a schmuck like that, when it comes on PC, which is where I actually want to play it. There's that. Finally, I'm not this kind of gamer, but I got the chance to play it. If you are on Steam and you like this kind of stuff and you're okay with mouse and keyboard, look into it. Exoborn. When it comes out fully, it will be on PC, it will be on console, it'll be everywhere. Developers, ex-devs of Division 2, and Division 2. So Division-like stuff. I think I've spoken about it on here before. Just Division-like combat, moment to moment, and a perspective and graphics. But guess what? warthogs, and grapple shots, and you're a team of 3 trying to get to an objective. It's an extraction shooter. Freaking awesome. I'm not an extraction shooter guy. I loved this game when I got a chance to try it, so much so that I can't wait to play it when it comes out in full. So those are my games.
Wow, nice. You know, there is, and I thought I had it in the notes. Maybe I sent it to you. Yeah, I probably sent it to you. Yeah. So there's another game, and a new trailer just released for it with Ghost Rider and Black Panther. I'm talking about Marvel's what the heck is the name of this? Cosmic Invasion is what it's called. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and every time, I mean, first of all, the list of heroes in this thing, again, I'm a side scroller guy, right? Which is why I'm really going to be, keen-eyed, if you will, to what Sega is going to be doing at TGS next week. Because I mean, look, we've seen what it looks like because they showed a trailer. They're redoing Golden Axe, and the little second that we saw, oh my God, it looks like a totally different game. But they're also redoing Streets of Rage. Now, Streets of Rage was redone because there was it wasn't redone. They made a 4. And 4 was awesome. I mean, really good. But this has like real filthy, dirty, like lifelike graphics in Streets of Rage. Yes, I'll take it all day long. Pause. But this Marvel's Cosmic Invasion, folks, I don't know whether you got a chance to see it, but this is, I mean, already the list is ridiculous. They just showed off Black Panther and Cosmic Ghost Rider, Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Storm, Vel, Venom, Nova, She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Silver Surfer, and of all characters, Beta Ray Bill. Yes, he's one of my favorite Thors for sure. This is gonna be dope. And you know something, guys? Before we get out of here, I do want to take like the next 15 minutes and talk about how 2025 is going to be remembered for a lot of things. There are games like Expedition 33. Shout out to Neo Game Spark. I don't know whether you follow him or not. You should. He's a really good dude. He literally put out a post on how his life was changed at the end of Expedition 33. Like, he did a whole bunch of flurry of tweets talking about he was just so moved by it. And I'm not just talking about Expedition 33, gentlemen and chat. I'm talking about just the budgeted gaming of 2025. And I don't mean, when I say budget gaming, I'm not talking about cheap games just to get your 15 or 20 bucks. Some of my most favorite games that I am playing like right now have been all under $20 games. Some of the games that we just talked about are going to come out for about 20 bucks. Like, obviously the Marvel game is going to be about 20 bucks, right? The game on your screen right now, it is in preview. It's available on Xbox. It's called Yet Another Zombie Survivors. It's 15 bucks. And it is, as you can see by the screen, ladies and gentlemen, freaking phenomenal. Let me just start the footage again. It's about to end. So let me just, bring this back. Hold on just a sec, folks. And again, like, let's see. What's some of the other ones that I've played? Achilles Survivor is another one. It's freaking amazing. Game was 15
Survivor.
bucks. Yes. Yes. I mean,
mad Survivor games out there these days.
There are a lot of them, and they're really, really good. But again, if people may get bored of those, that's fine. For someone like me, doesn't have much time, they're great. 20 minutes in and out. But
Keeper's Toll,
what's that?
All that. Remember Keeper's Toll? Another one.
Keeper's Toll, yes. Yep. Another friggin' phenomenal game. I actually bought that on Switch and on Xbox, for that matter.
There you go.
Hargeet, I want to get to you, and let's talk about 2025 in gaming, because I really think that this year has levied an incredible amount of AAA experiences. I think Ghost of Yotai, even with its controversy, is a big game. Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to be a big game. The Outer Worlds 2 is going to be a big freaking game. And there's been a lot before it, and there's a lot more that I'm leaving off the table. But as great as these big experiences have been, I really think that the games that are under $50 and under are really leading the charge on why this year, more than any other year before it, the budgeted game is reigning supreme. I mean, if you just look at Oblivion Remake, that game has sold nearly 10 million copies, more than the original when it released on the Xbox 360 and PS3. And you know what's crazy? They could have charged $70 for that game, but they didn't. They charged $50 for that game, and it was in Game Pass, by the way. Same thing with Expedition 33. That's a budgeted price game. And what is it going to do? It's probably going to mop up the awards this year. I want to get your thoughts on the budgeted games for 2025 versus some of the big AAA bombs.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly proving out that, the cost of the game or the price of entry can make a difference. You missed Silk Song just came out and crashed every store, $20. That's a pretty crazy thing to do. I don't ever recall that happening before. Where
in all of my gaming years, and I've never seen that. Nope.
Every single store dies. Damn, that's pretty crazy, right? I don't even know if we found we actually gotten the release of how many units it sold. Again, that's another Game Pass game. Yet again, it's still sold like crazy. But hey, it does, show that like the increase in price matters. Along with that, we had the $80 Mario Kart World, and Xbox comes out and says, "Hey, all of our fall games are going to be $80." And they put out Outer Worlds 2 at $80, and lo and behold, it didn't get any pre-orders. It's shocking. And so Xbox comes out and says, "We're not doing that. It's $70." So that's good, but even $70 is a lot, right? It just depends on the high level of quality of that game, whether it actually deserves that. And a lot of games just aren't giving you that much value for it. Some are doing a lot, right? But then you look at other games that give you so much content at a much lower cost, and you're like, well, why is that game that cheap? And this game is that expensive. So it does bring into question what the heck is AAA, AA, indie, whatever, and how well do we get served when we play these games and pay this much for it? We have a lot of contention this year on the development side, with a lot of people saying the subscription service it's making it very difficult for developers, and you should there was one from I want to say it was Ibarra, right, that said, "I'd love to be able to tip gamers." Was that this year or last year?
He wants to yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And like, okay, so look, there's some contention there, but like the reality is value for money, it's becoming quite a difficult thing to justify. Keep spending more. But hey, whatever, that's the industry, and they have to figure that out, right? How many games are not selling the way they should because they just charge too much? Is Returnal worth $70? Like, yes, that was a while ago. That was 2021, right? But like, I think that game was hurt because they charged that much. If that was a $40, if that was a $40 game, $50 game, it would have sold more units. And it's just the reality. Look at Helldivers; it's $40. Yeah, it's much easier to just say, I can spend $40 and play with my buddies. Let's do it. And it's selling like crazy on Xbox. So like that's what you need to do. Is like look, you want more players. That's how you go. Like, free to play works. It gets a lot of money from people for some games. Some games it didn't work at all, right? But free to play works when you can engage with your players and they want to keep playing. And then they might engage and buy your microtransactions, and that happens. Yes. And they make billions. So like, but it's voluntary, right? For those who can't afford it, they can still play. And for those who can, it's like, I want that skin, I want that whatever, right? Okay, cool. They pay. And they buy the whatever they want. So it's an interesting time just to look at these different market dynamics. Again, none of this stuff always works universally. GTA could sell for $100 and it'll still sell a bazillion copies because it's GTA, right? But there's only GTA. There's not every game can pull that off, right? You have to be careful when you start going in that direction. I don't know how well this is gonna land as far as the market itself. There's been a certain dynamic of how games have been made, how developers have been compensated. That's all going to have to shift to kind of work through this new process and figure things out to make it work. But we'll see where that goes. I also want to say there've been a lot of AAA games that have come out that have done phenomenally well as well. And there's been a lot of great games this year. You got KCD2, right? That came out and critically well. I think it sold pretty well. Path of Exiles 2 came out, and good God, the amount of players for that, right? You've had Avowed and a smaller game, South of Midnight. Like all these games have come out. The Doom, et cetera, et cetera. All these games have come out. There's been plenty of good stuff. There's been stinkers too, right? So it happens, and if you charge too much, it becomes a barrier. For people to, like Mind's Eye was a what a clunker. But they charged a good AAA price, and you're like, but this game is not AAA. So like it just kind of worked out to not work out for them. It's just the way it goes. I don't know if there's better answers to this. It's tough to have the market dynamics of this. I've always said I hate the whole push for high fidelity graphics, and you have to have every blade of grass has to move. I don't give a shit about that. Give me the game. It's got to be fun. The game loop's got to be good. I just want to play my game, right? And you can see like games that don't do all that stuff, and yet they give you a fantastic game itself. The gameplay is good, and or the story is compelling. Like they do something to get you in the game is good enough. You don't have to go crazy with that stuff, but some people love it, and that's fine. But this also drives cost. It also makes games that could potentially go down the drain and cost publishers and studios to go under. It's not a good place to be. It's very tough now to take those risks that they used to be able to take, and it's because of these escalating costs, and that's disappointing. But like I'm hoping people learn the lessons that you don't have to go crazy. Expedition 33 with 30-ish developers or whatever it is. Good enough. You don't have to go crazy. And that game is visually pretty good. Gameplay loop is good. Story's compelling. That's all you need. It doesn't have to go nuts, right? And if people, Vampire Survivors is like the classic example.
My favorite game in the last 10 years.
Single
honestly.
Developer, right? Just stupid fun. It doesn't matter, right? Is it graphically the best thing? No. Right? Yeah, exactly. You don't have to go crazy with all that stuff. Simple gameplay loop that people enjoy, and you just keep playing. That's all it takes. And it doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg, and it doesn't have to take that much dev time in 7 years or 8 years, right? There's a potential for those kind of games. Thankfully, that is kind of winning as far as the sheer volume of games that are out there. The downside is finding time to play these things.
Yeah,
but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, will the market normalize? It has to. There's no choice, right? They'll figure that stuff out. But AAA is becoming a very interesting proposition. It's becoming samey because they don't want to take risks, and so now you have to figure out, okay, which one of these samey games am I going to buy? Is it worth my time? On the flip side, you do have things that are coming out, especially indie, that are very compelling. Some games kind of push the envelope a little bit, which is good. But that's kind of the way it is. And sometimes you say Doom, the Dark Ages, push the envelope a little bit, and some people like it, some people hate it, right? It's like, why isn't it like Doom Eternal? Why isn't it well, because they wanted to change things, right? They wanted to give you something new. And that sometimes can bring negative aspects to it, along with some positive. Some people like the change. Some people don't like the change, right? And so it's just the way it is, right? And there's a lot riding on these things, unfortunately. But But yeah, I don't want to say that the entire industry is in shambles. I don't know if you consider the AAA-ness of Nintendo games, but Mario Kart World came out. It's doing pretty well. It's a
It
fun
did very
game.
well. Yeah.
Donkey Kong, I played the first couple of
I love it.
just the levels, but like the area, whatever you want to call it, right? The world levels,
Layers.
whatever. So I've done a couple of those. It's a fun game. It's fun.
It is, yeah.
It's good. So, and I don't know if we consider those AAA or not, whatever, but they consider it AAA. So those are good, right? And there's plenty of games that seem to fail that, but there are games that come out that are kind of fun. And so we'll see how this keeps going. But to your point, indies have kind of taken that scene where it's like I can try something quirky, new, something different, not take a massive financial risk, and give you something that's different and fun, right? And see if that goes anywhere. The thing I hate though is that once it works, people might get a little bit of ego and say, "Oh, now we should make it AAA." No, stay where you are. Quirky games. That's a good thing, right? And make those quirky games, make your money. It's good. You don't have to go crazy. I think the better lesson is to say, okay, I can make a Silk Song after making a Hollow Knight and not go crazy and just make the game that people want to play. And that's what they did. $20, crashed with all the stores.
By the way, they have,
That's
as
exactly
of today, Hargeet, they have sold 6 million copies of that game. Sold.
Wow. There you go.
So real quick,
there you go.
I was gonna bring up an anecdote about that, and I love that you guys brought up this whole Silk Song thing. Did you hear what the makers of Hell Is Us said about Silk Song's price and release date?
No.
They called them shadow dropping it a little callous.
Oh, that's wow.
The indie studio dropping their indie studio game against you. Yes, admittedly, also a small studio, 64 people, who's backed by Nikon or Nacon as it's called. Yeah. They called them dropping that game callous because to them it led to Hell Is Us not selling as much as it should have.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
It's
up to Hell Is Us to compel you to buy it. It's not up to Silk Song.
And this is the world we live in.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Other games will come out.
Exactly.
It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, Hargeet, phenomenal points, and I think you're onto something. I truly do. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on Hell Is Us. Game looks great. But there's a lot that it doesn't do, and it makes the game. I know some people like Dirk Riggedy are really enjoying it. There's no map. There's no pointing to where you have to go next. You just have to explore, do your thing. For some people, that's awesome. I don't know. I mean, I didn't buy it because, folks, I have too many games, but we're already at the 90-minute mark. Again, shout out to Hargeet with dropping the knowledge bombs left, right, and center. Asante, let's get your final thoughts on the indie scene, the budgeted game scene, not so much the indie game scene, but the budgeted game scene versus the AAA monsters that are out there. Because ultimately, I think that I really believe this. When we look back at 2025, when we are in 2026, and we look back to what took up your time in 2025, I think a lot of it is going to be the lesser priced games.
Yes. And actually, I would say that your first sentiment on that is correct. It is the indie scene, because if you look at all the quote unquote budget price games, they also, with the exception of a few, tend to also be indie games, right?
Yeah.
Like not many AAAs have had the fortitude or boldness to release their games at a certain specific price point. Say what you will, but Expedition 33, like Sandfall, that's an indie studio.
Yeah, it is.
It's an indie studio, right?
Yep.
It is higher, the upper echelon of indie, but it's still an indie studio, right? And that's actually why I brought up the case of Silk Song, right? That's the mistake that most people tend to make. Oh, we made a great game. It sold a lot. Now we're gonna make it bigger and badder and have bigger ambition. Nope. They made the exact same game. They even increased the price by a little bit, right? I think it was $15 for Silk Song for Hollow Knight, and it's $20 or $25 for Silk Song. $20
bucks.
Right? 20. So it was 15 for the first one. They increased it by $5. And even then, other devs and other folks are kind of salty about it because they came and they crushed, right? This is the world we live in. It's funny. I used to call it the Killmonger haircut effect. You see Killmonger running around, and now all of a sudden, 5 years later, every game has that haircut, right? What I hope is that with the trifecta of your Expedition 33s and your Silk Song and many others that you guys have pointed out valid, that came out with very, very interesting, thought-provoking pricing, that becomes the new Killmonger haircut, right?
Yeah,
I don't care
agree.
if you're altruistic or not. Just recognize that if you make it a little bit more cost effective, you might be able to like get your money back and then some, because people will see it and recognize its value, right? Putting it at 60, 70, or hell, even 80 is not where it's at. I will tell you now, and this will be the last thing I say, and we can get out of here. I will tell you now, in my Discord, I have a bet saying that if GTA is $80 or more, I'm not buying it. Just not doing it. I will not play it until I see it on discount, which is a year, maybe 2 years down the line. I don't care, because there's just too many games. And when it went from 50 to 60, I had a side eye. Now from 70 to 80, oh hell no, my pitchfork's out. I am not buying a single $80 game, and I can afford it, but I'm just not doing that, because there are so many great games that deserve better attention that come out and fall by the wayside, and they don't cost half as much.
You know, it's funny.
So
My
if it's
four favorite
$80,
games of this
not
year are under $60.
Mm-hmm. And I see you, Fuzzy Tomato. Believe me, I am not buying that game at $80. Not doing it. And because you know what? If I do buy it, I will also buy a copy for John Wolf. So I'm really not doing it. We have a bet.
That means that you have to spend
I am
$170
not
to have the tax.
doing it. No,
There you go.
because come on now, that's ridiculous. Not doing it.
Listen, I don't think you're wrong. I think $80 games are egregious. I think that if you are getting a deluxe edition of a game, okay,
That's a different thing. Base price needs to start cost effective, and then you can add on if you so choose. Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Look, at the end of the day, folks, I hope you had as much fun as I did. This was a great show because it was a show that wasn't pointed. We had a lot of game talk, which is what a lot of people enjoy. You know, we're talking about video games that we love and we're enjoying, and games that are coming out. And one of which that I'm very excited for. I mean, there are two actually. You have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which is coming out on the 25th on my birthday, and then on the 30th is the Aliens game, which is yes, please. But look, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. Let me just catch up with this last super chat here. Mac22 in the chat. Mac, great to see you here, brother. Thank you very much for the very generous $5 super chat. Matt goes on to say, Starfield Collectors was my last pre-order until 2 weeks ago when I pre-ordered Battlefield 6. So to answer your question, that hashtag Graybeards, I mean, that's his most anticipated game. And look, I think my most anticipated game of first-person shooters is still Black Ops 7. And, of course, tomorrow we're going to talk about early beta access that's coming soon. It's in a week or so. I'm excited for Battlefield for the single player. I'm not excited for Battlefield for the multiplayer, but I will play the multiplayer and I will give it, its due diligence, if you will. But I think Black Ops 7 is going to be my first-person shooter. And again, there's still, oh my God, there's still the Outer Worlds, which I'm going to definitely sink my teeth into. That game looks amazing, and every time you see it, it looks even better. But look, let's get everyone out of here. First of all, a big thank you to all of the gifted subs and the super chats that have come in this evening. Mrs. Boom and I do greatly appreciate the financial support, and again, it does allow us to do the big giveaways. And we do have 3 coming up, folks. 1 in September, 1 in November, and the big boy in December, which is going to be the 8th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And we're trying to put the finances together to figure out what we're doing, how big we are going. Last year, we went a little over our heads, but we did it. We said we were going to do it, and we gave away $2,500 worth of prizes. And it was a lot. And I don't think we're going to be able to get to that amount this year because of just the way the world is, but we are still doing our giveaways, and we're still going to be able to help people out with their holiday shopping, because I know a lot of people that did win prizes told me so. So again, it's we love helping people, and we can do that kind of help, that giveaway type of help that you see happening on some of the some of the big boys in the world. Well, we like to give away as much as we can, and we can do that thanks to your generosity. But Hargi China, let's sell the brand, brother. You wrote a book last year called Emergence, and you are still selling that book on places like Amazon, and we want people to check it out, especially if they're fans of Mass Effect, because it is kind of Mass Effect-esque. Also, besides being on a lot of podcasts and not on social media, good for you, kind sir, you do have your own YouTube channel that has a lot of great content to people where they can subscribe and, more importantly, buy your book.
Sure. My channel's Hargi Chani 1 on YouTube. Book, if you want to pick it up, is on shop.chani.us. I may end up having to skip Friday's show because I think there's a family gathering going on. So I'm probably not going to be on with C Money and Doodle on Friday. But then on Saturday, I'm a double header. We have Web Dave at 2 p.m. Eastern time with King David and me to go over the upcoming Tokyo Game Show. While they'll be out there, the Iron Lords. So check that out. And then at 6 p.m. with Fonz on Fonz Gaming, and then again with Web Dave on Sunday at 7 p.m. US Eastern time. Nice. And then we'll be back next week on Wednesday to see what's going on. TGS, I think, is the day after, right? I think it starts right after.
Actually think it's it's Thursday, the 25th. So it's gonna be.
So we'll maybe we can do some predictions of stuff, but yeah, yes. we will not have the news yet, but we will certainly be getting stuff next week with TGS. It'll be a fun time.
I can't freaking wait. But thank you so much for being here as always. Kay Asante, let's sell the brand, brother. You put out a video today that we want to help promote, and you're going to be doing a tutorial on how to get the Xbox full screen mode early on your current handheld. You're going to tell everyone how to do that. Again, you've already dropped it into the chat, but you're going to be doing you did a video on your YouTube channel, but we want to see this expanded because it is good work. Talk about it, brother. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel? Check out this new video, and more importantly, check out the Gaming Circle podcast every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and as well, follow you on the socials.
So yeah, we've been talking a lot of handhelds and stuff because the times are getting exciting. I did put the Xbox full screen experience on the Legion Go. I will be putting out a video most likely tomorrow. I'll try to see if I can do it by tomorrow. Putting the same experience, beat for beat, talking it through it on BoomStick's ROG Ally right here. So this is the patient. So we're going to be doing that tonight, and we're going to post it tomorrow. Obviously, over the weekend, we're going to get far more into it. Talk about how it works. Is it good? Is it not good? What they've added? What's missing? TLDR. It's actually pretty decent so far. It's by and large the same experience I had in Germany. So you can put it on anything almost. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, come check us out. GCP Gaming Circle podcast this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow me on the old the x.coms and the YouTubes, and follow you back. And I appreciate all that stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, appreciate it very much, the work that you're doing. And of course, a big thank you to everyone that tuned in this evening. Please, on your way out the door, hit the like button, share this on social media. And if not already subscribed, ladies and gentlemen, please assist Mrs. Boom and I to getting to 17K. There is a hype button that you can find at the end of this video. And if you hit the hype button, it's a new program through YouTube where they kind of move us into a more aggregated flow of the algorithm. Listen, I don't know if it works or it doesn't, but it's something that they're trying new to help channels that are under 500,000 subscribers. And we feel like we kind of fit right in there because we're at 16,000. So if you're interested, please consider hitting the hype button, letting people know about Double Barrel Gaming. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught me with kids and would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you, you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.